Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And I was just thinking in war, uh, I've, I've been in direct war in Vietnam, indirect war in Central America and Asia. And the reason I say indirect, uh, one thing that I noticed, uh, it's uh, communications in the way of free speech. There isn't any free speech, and it's all propaganda. Everything that's coming out, and and I was thinking, well, okay, exactly how does this work? And what it is the idea. What they want is they want all the citizens to stay calm and stay home and prepare food and just stay there and everything will be okay. And the reason is when the people get out, they're able to talk to others, and then they start doing things. In Vietnam, they were doing that, trying to get everybody to stay home and stay calm and relax. And we're right in the middle of a war, And for me, I couldn't understand it because I was thinking, wait a minute, you're in the middle of a war. I don't understand how people are staying home and staying calm. Well, they weren't. That is what the message that they were saying was, well, they had some problems, along the DMZ, but it's the DMZ's. They pulled everybody out. Nobody's living there. So when they talk to the people, well, then that, just a little bit of that, and stay calm, and they're getting food. They're managed to keep the food moving. So the reason is when the people don't have food, well, then they're going to be leaving their home, and they're going to be looking for trouble. They're going to make trouble for you if you're the government. So they want to make sure they have food. And like I say, but what happens? What they did is they would go shopping and stuff like that, and then while they're shopping, they would talk about stuff that the citizens were interested in, and that is, some were interested in keeping and helping the United States, and some were focused on trying to get the United States out, and because we were occupying Vietnam. So. And like I say, they weren't in the combat itself as long as you stayed home and stayed, Now, I was in a little different situation because I was out in the jungle. And what we saw were villages that were out there. And the same thing, we limited the travel from village to village and stuff like that. Why? Because when they get out there, they will talk and start getting things organized. And that's what happened in 1968 Tet Offensive, is they were able to talk and communicate and decide what they're going to have one big strike, and that was at Tet Offensive in 68, and that's Chinese New Year. And so people are moving around before Chinese New Year because it's a big old holiday, and as they're moving around, they were moving weapons and stuff like that. And so this was one of the things they were trying to stop. And I think about that, and in Central America, and then like I say the what 2016, 17, something like that. I went to Asia, and I was traveling around Asia, and I noticed they were still basically doing the same thing, trying to get everybody stay home. Hey, stay with the family, have fun, and all this kind of stuff. They don't want to get people to get together and get themselves riled up and then protest against the government. Well, they won't protest because they don't do protest. They don't allow protesting. So, but that's, I notice they look for ways to keep people home. Kind of like when this virus thing, stay home, not, and I'm thinking, boy, that's for our safety, thank you, and we're going to keep the stores open. They shut down all the mom and pop businesses, but they want to make sure that you'll have food and you can stay home. And nowadays, hey, you can get on the internet and watch movies and stuff like that. Things to keep you calm and home and stuff. And they never really report what's going on. Even now, I've noticed how much you hear about the border, southern border. I mean, I think it's still open. I mean, I haven't heard that they've decided to close up the border, so I guess it's still open. But we don't hear too much about that. Now they're back focused on the virus thing, and trying to control people, get people scared, and focused on that instead of focusing on what I heard they left $2 billion worth of war gear in Afghanistan. So I mean, they don't want to talk about that. And the Americans that are still there, our allies that helped us when we were there, we don't want to talk about them. And don't forget these other countries that are in Afghanistan. Now their citizens are stuck there. We don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. So the news media kind of goes on a thing. They might mention something and then you'll never hear about it again, like it went away. And they don't say, okay, like the weapons. What does that mean? Leaving weapons. Well, this is all of our high-tech gear was there. Okay, now do you think maybe? Well, now you hear the China's, working out a deal with the Taliban. They want to become allies. Okay, why do you think that would be? I don't know. I was thinking, well, maybe some of this equipment might be too fancy for the Taliban to handle, so China will take that equipment off their hands, and they'll be able to take it and then reproduce it again, understand, learn what kind of stuff we do have, and reproduce it for themselves. So maybe this is something that we may have to deal with later on. I don't know. Is there, we don't hear about politicians that have been doing bad things. We don't hear about that. We don't hear about their families doing bad things. This is stuff that, they're just theories that are just, worthless theories, And we don't hear about what it is our government is going to do besides normally what the government does is create problems and then they attempt to solve them by maybe getting rid of some of our rights, maybe maybe they try to solve them by more regulations, maybe they solve them by pointing fingers. It's not their fault. No, it's not the government's fault, and it's somebody else's, and they'll be pointing the fingers. Kind of like you keep hearing about, well, Trump did this, Trump did that. Trump is out of it now. So why are you even talking about that? Why aren't you talking about what are you doing to fix these problems? And I'm thinking maybe they don't see these as going to be problems for the government. It may be problems for us, we the people, but not problems for the government. So if it's not a problem for the government, maybe this is something that that they're kind of looking forward to. Maybe that's their steps. Because I noticed in war, they don't like to even talk about war when they're in war. Or, I say, in Mexico, I mean, they don't like talking about all the people that are getting killed, all the bad things that are happening. This is stuff that they don't like talking about. China, I think it's funny because not only they don't like talking about it, you go to prison for talking about it. So I mean, they're really, they got they tighten the screw a lot in China. And I'll tell you, I don't really know that much about Russia. But I would say in general, when these people are at war, they don't really like talking about it. Like when Russia invades a country, they don't really like to go in and say, we're invading your country and you're going to do this. They don't like saying that. They let their government kind of, do what they're supposed to do, so they don't look like the bad guy. They don't want to rile the people up. I don't know. It's just stuff like that I've seen, and I'm thinking, but here in the United States, we're not, we're moral people, so we don't do that kind of stuff. We got a constitution, and the constitution doesn't allow this stuff. So as long as we have morals and a constitution and we go by these, I don't think we have anything to worry about. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.